everyone. Today my topic is robo-advisor. And the reason I want to share this topic is robo-advisor is a new technique for the investment to have a more convenient ways to invest to do the investment. And in the past, when people sought professional advice on the investment, it took a lot of time to do asset allocations and was expensive due to costly labor. Therefore, the most investors intended to do it by themselves, but sometimes they may fail to do balanced portfolio accounting for irrational operations. Robo-advisor for investment, which has been developing since 2008 in the US, provides a less costly expense for investment advice and even invest for you automatically. Robo-advisor are a digital platform that provide automated, algorithm-driven financial planning services with a little to no human supervision. Typically, robo-advisor asks questions about your financial situation and future goals through an online survey. It then uses the data to offer advice and automatically invest for you. So here are some advantage and the disadvantage for the robo-advisor. The main advantage for the robo-advisor is low fee. Generally, financial planners usually charge a 1 to 2% rate, potentially adding more as a commission-based fee. As for a robo-advisor, it ends up affecting the client's ROI by only 0.2 to 0.5%. Also, it enhances portfolio. Robo-advisor employ mathematical algorithm that select the optimal investment portfolios option and more strategic option for the client. But there are still some disadvantages, like limited flexibility. Since robo-advisors select portfolio based on their mathematical algorithm, people cannot change their certain stocks individually. They recommend a plan based on your profile, which you can only accept, or you can pick a different plan. But in many cases, you can customize the plan. Also, it is limited to human interaction. Traditional investment advisors give their clients a clear view of their selection options. However, it is difficult for investors to understand the logic of robo-advisor, and it may cause some misunderstanding of the allocation. Here is the development in Taiwan. There are three main types of robo-advisor in Taiwan, which are fund investment, service for bank manager, and ETF AI intelligent investment platform. And originally, when the robo-advisor first developed, the the main job of the robo-advisor is to notify the clients to rebalance the investments and give their investment advice. Right now, MSC is the regulation of rebalancing if they meet some conditions. First, it gets the agreement of the portfolio from the clients. The second is the investment is not over 30 pounds. And third is the change is not over 60%. In that conditions, the robot advisor can rebalance for the clients automatically. The Securities and the Future Bureau enacted the regulation of robo-advisor supervisions for internal and external control to protect the investor. But there are still some difficulties for the regulation. First is the original regulation is only for traditional investment ways. The existing legislation is not suitable to regulate robo-advisor since robo-advisor has more uncontrollable factors like their algorithm and the basis to do the decision. Right now, the government and the clients is not clear to this part, so the regulation cannot catch up with the speed of the robo-advisor. So, since the technique is professional, the qualification of the practitioner of the robo-advisor is not clear to regulate the legitimacy. Third is the responsibility and the disclosure when the robo-advisor operates the investment. So the regulation right now cannot identify the responsibility when the robo-advisor makes some mistake. Like when the autonomous cars make some mistakes, it is not clear to identify the responsibility of the by the drivers or the cars. Also, the disclosure. The traditional advisor gives a clear view of the transaction costs, expected benefits, and the risk assessments when they interact with their clients. But right now, when robot advisors do their decisions, clients cannot clearly get the understanding. So here comes the comparison with the United States. United States has developed a robot advisor for more than 10 years with a relatively mature technique and also regulation. The US has easier access to utilize robot advisor. The main difference is the United States can operate automatic transactions. The robot advisor builds a new user diversified portfolios of exchange traded bonds or index bonds from the limited menu of options selected by investment professionals. The choices of the fund match the goals and risk tolerance outlined in the questionnaire. Once the user is set up, the platform software maintains the correct asset allocation in the portfolio automatically, rebalancing holding as needed. Tools and visualizations are provided to let users track their progress, add contributions, and potentially set up new goals. Investors Investors do not need to pay too much attention to the process and just pay a little fee to get the reward. And so here comes the conclusion. As I mentioned, Taiwanese now faces the most difficulty is the regulation. Robot advisors still focus on the providing investment advice instead of totally entrusting robot advisors to trade automatically. Nevertheless, FSC just eased the regulation of robo-advisor for rebalancing as long as getting the agreement from the client. Although Taiwan has developed the technique for nearly 5 years, it is still significantly behind other countries. Taiwan needs to accelerate the improvement of supervision legislations to maximize the benefits of robo-advisor to protect customers' rights. Thank you.
Right. So thank you very much. Yeah, I think what we have here is also one of the maybe most discussed issues in fintech. So again, feel free to share with us any questions or comments. Again, so to ask or to make comments, you just need to turn the mic and speak.
I'm Andrea. Um,
Yes.
I would like to ask that. Do you believe that robo advisor will dictate to like replace the manager?
Sorry, I can't hear clearly.
Yeah, Andrea, maybe you can speak a little louder.
Is that clear now?
Uh,
Um,
yeah, it's still not very clear.
Maybe I could type in the comment box.
Okay, sure. I think in the meantime, maybe I will start with a question for Bonnie here. Yeah, I think of course I think so. Robot advisor sounds like a perfect idea, right? It's low cost. It can also maybe run 24 hours a day. But I wonder, in terms of maybe some legal risks. So I mean, for example, what if the robot advisor made a mistake? Then so I wonder who is held responsible or accountable for the mistakes. Would that be the developer or would that be the service provider, or should the customer just take full responsibility for any mistakes?
right now, since the regulations in Taiwan is not very completed, so in Taiwan, I think the main the main responsibility of this kind of mistake may be to the investors, since it's their personal chosen for for the robo advisors. So, but I'm not sure what is the responsibility in the United States. So I may do some more research for this.
I see. Yeah. So maybe you can try to look into the liability issue, right? Good. I think we have now Andrea's question here. I think I'll read this out for you. So, do you believe? Do you believe that robot advisor will completely replace fund managers?
Oh no, just like I mentioned, right? Since most of the robot advisor is based on their the algorithm, so the investor may not understand the logics, and most investors may misunderstanding of the robot advisor. So they still need someone to explain for them. And if the robot advisor is not they cannot trust the robot advisor. They still need uh, some traditional investment advisors to give them appropriate investment advice.
I see. Okay, yeah. So thank you for the explanation. Yeah, so I guess maybe robot advisor, they will play some maybe complementary roles, right? They'll be maybe mainly assisting the fund managers instead. Okay, very good. So, do you have any other questions or comments or anything you'd like to share with us? So, do you have any comments from Alan? I think because I think you also introduced some kind of new technology so in the financial market. So, do you have any comments or suggestions for Bonnie?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Hello. Um, Bonnie, what do you think that like the ETF will ultimately replace the mutual funds right now in Taiwan in the future?
This part.
Because like ETF is not fully managed by fund manager, right? But mutual fund um, is managed fully managed by fund manager. So the fund manager like can adjust the portfolio on on their own. But ETF ETF doesn't allow fund managers to do such thing. So do you think that ETF will ultimately replace mutual fund?
um, no, I think most of the investors um, may not that clear about that clear about the ETF. Since like I just discussed with my mom how how she do the investments. She tell me that most of the ETF is too far from her, and she cannot like it is also expensive. So most of the investors cannot hold that much ETFs on their, and also for ETF, also the investors' strategy is to hold them for a long term. But the mutual funds, maybe they can do the more flexible operations. I think maybe.
Okay, okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Alan. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question. Yeah, even though I'm not really sure whether it's highly relevant to the topic here. Yeah, but I think that does help us maybe to reflect right on the role played by humans in financial services. Yeah, I think this can maybe also something, Bonnie, you can try to take into consideration. Yeah, for example, so how important is the human factor in financial service industry now, and how does robot advisor can somehow maybe transform that? Okay, very good. Okay, so let's give Bonnie a big hand. Thank you very much. Okay, I think I noticed that I accidentally skipped over Andy. So Andy, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. I think okay, but I think it's been over an hour, so I think maybe we can. I propose that we take a break first, and later we're going to return to Andy, and then we're going to follow the other presenters in the alphabetical order. Okay, I think due to time constraint, we take a break for about 10 minutes. So that means we're going to resume at 2:46. So the next presenters, you can also begin testing out the share function if you haven't done so. Right, I'll see you later.